You don't need motivation, you need discipline, you need pain. You need to wake up tired and still trained, because the world doesn't care about your excuses. It only respects results. You don't need a hug. You don't need a break. What you need is to wake up from the pathetic delusion you're living in. You've convinced yourself that you're trying, that you're doing your best, that maybe success just takes time. No, that's the biggest lie you're telling yourself. You are not doing everything you could be doing. You're not close, and deep down you know it. You're not operating at 100%. You're not even close to 60%. You're dragging through life with this comfortable little routine, hiding behind words like mental health and overwhelm and I just need to figure things out. No, what you need is to admit that you're being weak and stop pretending it's okay to be average. I'm not saying this because I hate you. I'm saying this because I know what you're capable of. You think you're depressed? You think you're stuck? Try working 16 hours a day on a business no one believes in, training until your hands bleed, and still showing up like you're going to conquer the world. That's what I did. That's what real men do. We don't sit around hoping for a miracle. We create our own damn miracle, and we do it through pain, through silence, through grind, through discipline. Motivation is useless. It fades. It dies in the face of difficulty. But discipline, that's the weapon. That's the edge. That's what makes the difference between the man who builds an empire and the one who scrolls Instagram all day hoping life gets easier. Let me tell you something no one has the balls to say anymore. Life is war. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you're willing to bleed for. And most of you haven't suffered enough to earn anything real. You say you want to win, but your actions prove otherwise. You sleep in, you skip the workout, you don't take risks, you talk more than you act, you fantasize more than you execute, and then you wonder why you're still stuck. You've never gone to bed so exhausted you couldn't move. You've never looked in the mirror and asked, did I give it absolutely everything today? Because if you had, you'd already be winning. But here's the truth, and you need to hear it. It's not too late. I don't care how broken you feel. I don't care how behind you think you are. You still have breath in your lungs. And that means you have time to turn it all around. You have time to become dangerous, to become respected, to become a man of value. But that time is running out. Every hour you waste is one you'll never get back. There's no pause button. This is your one shot, your one life. And it's slipping through your fingers while you distract yourself with garbage. The moment you accept that no one is coming to save you is the moment your life begins. No one owes you anything, not your parents, not society, not the government, no one. If you want to rise, you rise through force, through work, through blood. And once you get that into your skull, once you stop crying and start building, you become unstoppable. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being the smartest. It's about being the most relentless. The one who never backs down, the one who gets up again and again, no matter how many times life smashes him in the face. And don't get me wrong, it will smash you. Life will test you. It will beat you to your knees and laugh while you bleed. That's reality. But it's in those moments when you've got nothing left that the real man is born. Not in the easy times, not when things are going well, but in the pain, in the failure, in the silence, when no one claps for you. That's where greatness is forged. So if you're suffering right now, good. It means you're in the fire. That means you're being molded into something stronger, something ruthless, something unstoppable. So let this be the last day you lie to yourself. No more excuses, no more blame, no more waiting for the right time. The right time is now. This is your life, and you need to take control of it, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now. Become the man you were meant to be. Build the discipline, forge the mindset, master the body, dominate the world. Because if you don't, someone else will. And when they do, and they take everything that could have been yours, don't cry, don't complain. Just know that you chose comfort over greatness. You chose soft over strong. You chose easy over legacy. But if you're ready to fight, really fight, then good. Welcome to the war. Now get to work. People see me now and they think this life was handed to me. Fast cars, tailored suits, private jets, cash stacked higher than your hopes. They look at all of it and assume I was born lucky, that somehow I just stumbled into power. They don't see the years of suffering. The nights I went to bed starving, the days I worked with nothing in my pocket but belief. What they see is the result. What they ignore is the war it took to get here. Had no map, no rich daddy, no team holding my hand. I built everything from scratch, just a raw will to win and a refusal to quit. You think you're struggling? Good. That means you're on the path. But let me be very clear. Your struggle only becomes valuable when you decide you're done being weak. When I was broke, I didn't waste time crying. I didn't go online looking for sympathy. I was angry. I was disgusted with the man I saw in the mirror. I told myself, this isn't who you are. This isn't your destiny. And instead of asking the world to give me a break, I broke the world. Every single morning, I woke up before the sun, trained like a machine, studied like a madman, and worked until my body screamed. There were no days off, no weekends, no comfort. Every second of the day was spent building. Even when it felt hopeless, even when no one believed. That's when you need to push the hardest. When the world doubts you, when your own mind tells you to quit, that's when you go all in. They lied to you. Your depression isn't just chemical, it's a consequence of the life you refuse to change. No one's coming, no one's saving you. If you want peace, you'll have to earn it through war. And the battlefield is your own mind. You feel like life is crashing down on you. You're anxious. You can't sleep. You lie in bed staring at the ceiling. Your mind racing through failures, regrets, missed chances, and a future that feels empty. And every time you try to stand up, something drags you back into that mental swamp. You start to believe that this is just how it is. Your mind broken, your motivation gone, your spirit weak. But listen to me, and listen well. Your emotions are real, but your submission is a choice. Pain exists, yes. Suffering exists. But what you do with it defines who the hell you are. You're not a victim of your feelings. You're a hostage to your lack of action. You're not drowning in depression. You're drowning in avoidance, in comfort, in a life without structure, without battle, without resistance. And when a man has nothing to fight against, he ends up fighting himself. No one's denying that mental health is real. Of course it is. But the lie they feed you is that you're powerless against it, that it's a life sentence, that the answer is always external. Medication, therapy, numbing agents, distractions, they never tell you the truth. And the truth is brutal. You have to save yourself. You have to wake up when you don't feel like it. You have to train when you're mentally shattered. You have to build routines when your brain is screaming to stay in bed. Not because it's easy, but because that's the only way out. You want healing, it's in the hardship. You want clarity, it's in the chaos you conquer. Your mind isn't your enemy, it's your gym. And every time you resist the urge to give in, you're adding another rep to the muscle of your soul. Every moment you choose discipline over despair, you're winning a war that most people have already surrendered. Stop confusing comfort with care. The world will pat you on the back while you rot. They'll give you a pill, a label, a justification to stay weak. But there's no pride in dying slowly while being validated. There's no power in being understood if you're not changing. If your life still sucks in 6 months, who cares who empathized with you today? Sympathy won't build your bank account. It won't rebuild your confidence. It won't force you to become the version of yourself you see in your dreams. Only pain will. Only action will. Only brutal honesty will. You want someone to care? Care about yourself. Wake up early even if you didn't sleep. Push iron even when your chest is tight. Set goals even when your mind is fogged. That's real therapy. That's what no one tells you. Not because it doesn't work, but because most people are too soft to face it. You're not broken, you're undisciplined. That voice in your head saying you're not good enough, it's a liar, and it only wins when you stop fighting. You think successful men didn't feel what you feel? You think they weren't buried in doubt, fear, and darkness at some point? Of course they were, but they fought. And not just once, they fought every damn day, until that voice was silenced by action, until their anxiety was crushed under the weight of their routines, until their purpose became louder than their excuses. The difference between you and them is not trauma, it's response. You sit in it, they rise through it. They took responsibility. They looked in the mirror and said, this is my fault. And because it's my fault, I can fix it. That's the most terrifying and liberating mindset a man can adopt. You want power? Own everything. Your depression, your failure, your wasted years. Take it all, then flip it. Build from it. Become untouchable. And here's the most beautiful part. They don't teach you this, but it's true. There's hope in pain. If you're hurting, it means you still care. If you feel lost, it means you still have something inside you worth saving. The numb, dead men, they're the ones beyond repair, but not you. The fact that you're here, questioning, searching, trying, that's the ember. Now you have to fan it. You have to build a fire so hot that the demons living in your head can't even survive near it. And that fire comes from action. action, responsibility, repetition. You don't get stronger by waiting to feel better. You get better by moving while you're broken. You become elite by building while you're bleeding. Every champion was once a man who refused to stay on the floor. So stop waiting for the day you feel ready. That day's a lie. The real ones move when it's dark. They build while it hurts. They show up when their mind is chaos and still dominate. You think strength is smiling on sunny days? No. Real strength is holding your frame when your world is falling apart. It's standing tall when your chest is tight, your thoughts are loud, and your soul feels like quitting. That's when kings are made, not in luxury, not in therapy sessions, but in war, in the dirt, in the silence between breakdowns and breakthroughs. And here's what most men don't understand. You don't need to feel good to do good. You need to do good. And eventually, you'll feel good. Action rewires your brain. Movement generates hope. Progress creates purpose. But it all starts with one decision: to take control, not of the world, not of other people, of yourself. That's all you've ever had. And that's all you'll ever need. There was a time I couldn't sleep either. I lie there with my fists clenched, mind buzzing like a broken machine, replaying every mistake I'd ever made. All the wrong moves, all the people I let down, all the time I wasted chasing pleasure instead of purpose. I wasn't living, I was surviving. Barely. You wouldn't have seen it in my eyes back then because I wore the mask well. The smile, the jokes, the bravado. But inside, I was spiraling. That quiet voice in the back of my mind, it wasn't whispering, it was screaming. You're nothing. You're behind. You'll never make it. And I believed it. For a while, I believed it. Because no one had ever told me the truth. You don't defeat darkness with comfort. You destroy it with discipline. I remember the night I broke. Not with tears, but with decision. I was tired of pity, tired of explanations, tired of hoping someone would come and fix me. I looked at the mess I had become. Not just my finances, not just my routine, but my identity. I was weak and I hated it. And in that hate, something sparked. A moment of ruthless self-honesty. I said to myself, you are the reason your life is like this. No one's coming, no one owes you anything, so what the hell are you going to do about it? That question shifted everything. Because for the first time, I realized that the pain wasn't the enemy. It was the proof that I had something left inside me to fight for. That next morning, I woke up early. Not because I wanted to. My body begged for sleep. My mind begged for more time. But I said no. I got up. I ran. I pushed weights until I could barely lift my arms. I sat in silence for 10 minutes, battling the storm in my head. And I repeated that process every day. No therapist, no miracle. Just consistency, sweat, and brutal self-accountability. And slowly, piece by piece, I started building a man I respected again. Not a perfect man, but a dangerous one. A man who no longer feared the demons in his head because he trained with them daily. People think I just woke up rich and confident. They don't see the war I fought internally. The years I spent dragging my broken self to battle every morning with no audience, no applause, no reassurance. You want to talk about mental health? Then talk about routine, talk about structure, talk about winning the small wars. The cold shower when you're depressed, the meal prep when you're anxious, the workout when you're mentally exhausted. That's where men are built, not in escape, but in confrontation. Not in indulgence, but in resistance. You need to stop negotiating with your mind. Stop asking yourself how you feel. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. If you only act when it's easy, you'll never win. You'll always be a slave to your emotions. A man controlled by comfort. You want power? Earn it. Earn it through pain. Earn it through silence. Earn it through a war against mediocrity every single day. Because no one cares how smart you are. No one cares how many dreams you have if you don't build. The only thing that matters is what you do when it's hard. That's the metric. That's what defines real men. Not how loud they talk, but how much they endure in silence. That's the war you're in. And if you don't rise to it, life will crush you into dust and move on without a second thought. And don't think for a second that you can fake it. You might fool your friends. You might fool your parents, but you can't fool the man in the mirror. He knows. He knows when you're lying to yourself. When you say you're trying, but deep down, you know you're giving 40%. That's the truth that burns. And until you face it, you'll never be free. You'll be a prisoner to your own deception. But if you face that darkness, If you look it dead in the eyes and say, I've had enough, everything changes. You stop being a victim. You stop needing external validation. You start becoming something dangerous, something focused, something unshakable. And when that shift happens, the world bends. It moves for you because it always makes space for the man who refuses to be denied. So here's what you do right now. You make a decision, not a wish, not a fantasy, a ruthless, deliberate decision to go all in, to stop compromising, to stop shrinking yourself, to stop apologizing for your ambition.
Your success in life is directly correlated to the amount of stress you can deal with. And this is true. It's kind of like air resistance. And when you look at cars or you look at jets or any of these things, how fast they can go is directly correlated to how much air is going to be pushing against them. No matter how successful you get, the more successful you become, the more the opposite force is going to push against you. And most people get to a certain level and go, okay, that opposite force is too much. But I just kept going and going and going and going and going. And now I'm up here at terminal velocity and the enemy force is coming at me. So, yeah, you're successful, but sure, it's very stressful. I mean, if you have the mentality that you're born to suffer, I think you'll be pretty good at things. If you're born with the mentality that nobody should suffer, you're always going to be shit at things.
If you want to win, it has to become who you are. You can't dabble in greatness. You have to become obsessed with it. You have to wake up with fire in your veins and fall asleep knowing you gave everything. You have to become the man who says no to weakness, no to laziness, no to the soft life. And not just once, every single day until it's not a choice anymore, it's just who you are. Because once that level of commitment takes over, you become unstoppable. You become the kind of man who doesn't chase, he attracts, who doesn't beg, he builds, who doesn't wait. This is it, your turning point, your line in the sand. No more talking, no more dreaming. It's time to turn rage into action, to weaponize your pain, to let every moment of doubt become the fuel that drives your rebirth. You want freedom, earn it. You want power, build it. You want to become a man of respect, of legacy, of absolute control, then move. Now, because this life doesn't wait for the hesitant. It rewards the man who charges forward, head first, with scars, with fury, with unstoppable conviction. That man, that's who you become. Starting now. And an unshakable sense that you could have been something more. That's the death most men suffer, not in body, but in soul. Death by delay. Death by comfort. Death by playing it safe. Every single day you waste is one you'll never get back. That should terrify you. Because you're not stuck, you're choosing to stay behind. And deep down, you know it. You know you could work harder. You know you could discipline yourself. But instead, you lie to yourself, numbing the voice inside that's begging you to change. You drown it with distractions, with comfort, with fake dopamine. And in doing so, you betray your potential. That voice you silence, that's your future. That's the man you're supposed to become. But you keep killing him. One wasted hour at a time. You think there's no consequence for inaction, but there is. It's slow, it's silent, and it eats your spirit alive. Look around. Most people are spectators in their own lives, consuming instead of creating, reacting instead of building. They've accepted mediocrity as destiny. They celebrate weekends and dread Mondays because they built lives they secretly hate. Is that what you want? To exist instead of dominating, to follow instead of lead. Because here's the brutal truth. If you're not obsessed with evolving, there is no neutral. Time doesn't freeze. It either strengthens you or exposes your weakness. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Not because life becomes tougher, but because your habits get lazier, your standards drop lower, and your spirit becomes quieter. That's the real trap. You don't just stay in place. You slide backwards, thinking you're standing still. You want motivation? Here it is. Imagine being 60 years old, looking back at your life and realizing you settled. You never took the risks. You never pushed beyond fear. You never became the man you dreamed of being as a boy. You played small, kept your head down, did everything safe, and it got you nowhere. That version of you will hate you. He'll scream at the wasted years, the cowardice, the hesitation. He'll relive every missed opportunity in his mind like a looped nightmare. And the worst part, there will be no way to fix it. Time will have closed its doors. That should put chills down your spine, because that future's real. It's waiting for you, unless you do something now.